Hi, it's Ileana here. It is July the 6th, 2017. So recently there was an interview talking about the term Ring of Archons. Now, I'm not going to be mentioning any names or who said it in what interview, but it was implied that supposedly Archons were invoked in a ritual, which I don't believe happened. Archons should not be invoked anywhere to possess anyone because these are etheric parasitic entities that are energetic, and it's never good to have them around near your own living energy field in your brain or your body. It's just they're very manipulative, and they can influence you to do bad things and make bad decisions. So I didn't like the implication. And I tried to research what the term Ring of Archons actually means on the internet, and there's no explanation for it. So, in it being associated with a ritual, no. Archons usually don't require summoning rituals. That's for demons and stuff, to summon demons and banish demons. And those rituals are complicated, and it may include blood magic, and it may include invocations and permissions and contracts, taking somebody's hair or taking something of somebody's that's a personal item and using it in a ritual to invoke something for possession or whatnot. So there's all kinds of rituals. There's dark rituals, there's light magic rituals, there's ritual magic. So there's all kinds of rituals. This one, I think the Ring of Archons was implied to be an energetic ritual of inviting the Archons to possess other people at a group level. I don't like that inference at all. It's very negative, and to imply that somebody was doing that is a big no-no. I don't like that at all. So I actually found an interesting article called Never Call Them Archons, How You Can Help Bust Up the Matrix. It's by Cameron Day. It was written in 2012. And it's from ascensionhelp.com, I believe. That's where the article came from. So I'm just going to read this article out loud, and I've paraphrased a few things here to remove the I statement from the article, but it's originally Cameron Day's article. So I am giving the original owner stating who wrote this. It's not mine. So and I did change it slightly. The I references to make it not personal. So, and I think this explains what the Archons are quite well. So here goes. There is a living cloud of shadows surrounding this planet, which is populated by energy parasites. These parasitic beings have chosen to experiment with the illusions of separation, fear, darkness, isolation, conquering, enslavement, pain, suffering, torture, etc., to the strongest degree possible. In doing so, they have completely cut themselves off from the nourishing light of being that supports life in the universe. The result is that they must energetically nourish themselves by feeding on low frequency energies that resonate with their chosen mode of expression. These beings call themselves Archons, which means rulers or lords, because they see themselves as the rulers and enslavers of humanity. The ancient Gnostics first gave them this title in their writings based on direct psychic experiences with these beings. While these unseen beings' clever enslavement and manipulation of humanity has been quite successful up until now, they should never be addressed as anyone's ruler or superior in any way, just like most wouldn't consider physical intestinal parasites as their superior. even though they might cause them physical discomfort and until they remove them from their body. Our thoughts have power, much more than we often realize. Words and titles have power because they frame our thoughts into a certain set of beliefs without us even realizing it. Calling a royal human Your Highness automatically places them above you in your mind. Calling a judge Your Honor achieves the same thing. Therefore, it is very important that when you think about these energy parasites, that you never call them Archon, because you will be literally handing them your power and energy by doing so. Some prefer to call them ankle biters. This lets them know exactly what someone thinks of them, which is that they are lowly parasites, an infection of consciousness that will be purged from someone's system through proper use of that individual's will via energetic clearing and transmutation. This also serves to really make them angry, which exposes them and makes them easier to deal with. In spite of their self-proclaimed status as rulers of humanity, they hide like little worms in the shadows of our minds, sending impulses of low-frequency emotion and thought to our ego and emotional bodies in order to elicit a low-frequency emotional energy that they can consume. Because they love to hide, they need to be flushed out into the open in order to be dealt with. So a healthy dose of disrespect and a little arrogance are necessary ingredients when confronting these parasites. A little backstory. Once upon a time on this very planet in the far distant past, human beings were infinitely more impressive than we are today. We were fully telepathic, multidimensional beings that could simultaneously perceive and navigate many dimensions at once. We built vast cities with technology that worked in harmony with Earth's energetic fields. We were in full alignment with our divine inner self while expressing ourselves in physicality in a wide variety of life-affirming ways. This unlimited expression of divine selfhood was viewed by the ankle biters as a threat to their very existence, because the third density has been dominated by them for a very long time on other worlds. To have a third density world be completely free from their manipulations and feeding was something that they could not allow without a fight. The problem for them was that Earth humans were so powerful we could literally brush them off with a thought. These beings only have power over others who they have manipulated and put fear into. A fully aware human who knows their inner divine self cannot be dominated by these parasitic beings in any way. The ankle biters will simply be metaphorically spanked for misbehaving and sent away. However, these ankle biters are possibly the most clever manipulators in the universe, simply because all they know is manipulation and deceit. Practice makes perfect, after all. They studied these intensely powerful humans, lusting after the power and energy that they could drain from them if only they could figure out a way to manipulate, conquer, and enslave them. They devised a plan to very carefully manipulate a few humans in positions of power into making an innocent mistake with terrible cataclysmic repercussions. These humans were experimenting with new methods of harnessing and transmitting energy in vast quantities. The experiments were unprecedented and very ambitious. Too ambitious because the ankle biters were secretly influencing some of these humans through their ego mind to push the envelope of what was thought to be possible. When an advanced phase of testing at the North Pole of the planet went disastrously wrong, this large, extremely powerful device exploded with such force that it caused tremendous cataclysms on the planet, rapidly melting huge swaths of ice and creating a flood that destroyed nearly every coastal area on the planet within a day. The vast amount of death and destruction was unimaginable, and only a remnant of the many billions of humans survived, heavily traumatized, grief-stricken at the loss of their loved ones. And focused only on physical survival, they fled to safe locations to try and rebuild their once great civilization. This story sounds much like what we know of as the fall of Atlantis, but it actually occurred long prior to the civilization of Atlantis, even though it too perished in a similar manner many centuries later. The incredible trauma of this experience caused a loss of perception in the survivors, making them less aware of the other dimensions that are always mingling with third density. They simply couldn't take the time to focus on any other density but this one, because their physical survival depended on being fully focused on the physical realm. At the same time, the humans' deep emotional pain, grief, and wounding gave the ankle biters a tremendous amount of low-frequency energy that they could consume, allowing them to feast on the suffering of the surviving humans and grow more powerful. The ankle biters found that as long as they stayed carefully hidden, that they could send a small thought form into the minds of the traumatized humans, reminding them of all that they had lost. This would create a cascade of painful thoughts and emotions in the person that would generate more energetic food for the ankle biters. As each subsequent generation of humanity was born, the ankle biters became more bold and instituted a program of direct interference into human consciousness. They subliminally programmed humans to be blind to their presence, allowing them to more directly influence a person's thoughts. They also programmed human consciousness to recoil away from any mention of the ankle biters or their dark influence over humans, so that when confronted with such information, a person's immediate response will be disbelief, ridicule, and mockery. Finally, in their most brilliantly sinister move, they reprogrammed the human ego to resemble their own ego, and encouraged the ego consciousness to dominate all other levels of our being. They essentially reprogrammed humans to be like them, fearful, jealous, petty, dishonest, brutal, enslaving, murderous, unforgiving, punishing, etc. This ensured that humans would be easy to manage as an energetic food source for thousands and thousands of years. These layers of programming have been in place in the human thought system ever since, perpetuating the discordant misadventures that we know as human history. The Dark Control Grid. Over time, the ankle biters built an energy feeding structure surrounding the entire planet, which allows them to automatically gather human-generated low-frequency energy and send fearful or other low-frequency messages into human consciousness to keep people generating energetic food for the ankle biters. This structure exists in a higher density than this one, so it can only be perceived psychically or when out of body. Cameron Day first discovered it in 1997 during an out-of-body journey, but he had no idea what it was. He was very promptly intercepted by two beings who disguised themselves as guides, but their energy felt more like prison guards than any kind of benevolent guide. Over the years, Cameron Day has gathered information about this control grid, but he still didn't know as much about it as he would like. Here's what he does know. This structure is like a dark web of energy surrounding the planet that is heavy and oppressive. It serves to block energies coming to the Earth from the galactic core and other parts of the galaxy, but it cannot stop them completely. The grid is programmed with negative feedback that sends subtle signals into the subconscious and ego mind to keep people focused on low-frequency beliefs and thought patterns. The Dark Control Grid is programmed with an artificial intelligence to self-repair and notify the ankle biters when it is damaged. The grid supports the ankle biter collectors, which are living amoeba-like beings that connect to nearly every person on the planet, soaking up all of the low-frequency energies that we give off in our daily lives. Ankle biters travel through this grid to attend to problems or directly oppress a person whose energy frequency is getting too lofty for their dark agenda. The bosses in the ankle biter hierarchy usually appear with a reptilian humanoid appearance, although they can disguise themselves with many different appearances. The ankle biters have leveraged their advantages over humans to completely corrupt what we think of as human nature. You may be wondering what human nature would be without these ankle biters and their dark control grid. What has been thought of as human nature to lie, cheat, steal, rape, enslave, and murder is a false program installed into the human mind and is not truly human nature at all. True human nature is compassionate, caring, sensitive, loving, forgiving, cooperative, empathic, creative, energetic, joyful, inquisitive, irrepressible, non-conformist, uplifting, and divine. In order to reestablish our true human nature, we need to jettison the false programming of the ankle biters, restoring your divine nature. The restoration of your awareness that you are divine is very important. The energy clearing tools like soul contract, revocation, declaration of non-consent, entity attachment removal, self-sovereignty declaration, etheric implant removal, meditation exercises are designed to allow you to gently dissolve the false layers of illusions that have been placed into your consciousness over many lifetimes so that you can rediscover your higher self, which is actually your inner divine self. We start off each incarnation with our divine self fully seated within the heart center of our physical bodies, which is why children are so energetic and wonderful. Then, as authority figures, media, peers, the dark control grid, and the world at large can convince the child that they are not divine. This inner divine energy leaves the body and sits above a person, waiting patiently to be reintegrated back into the heart center once again. Because our divine energy is seemingly above us, it gets termed the higher self. So from this point forward, whenever you hear higher self, please substitute it for inner divine self and notice the subtle but powerful shift in your awareness that arises from this change. Instead of seeing your divine self slight above you, see it emanating from your heart center. Instead of bringing an aspect of your divine nature into you, you are going to be expanding it from deep within you. It may seem like a small thing, but this difference is very powerful. Once your divine inner light is expanded from your heart and surrounding your entire body, you can send a beam of loving energy to the core of the planet and interact with it energetically. All of this can be done without drawing too much ankle biter attention to yourself, so stick to this when you need a smooth, easy, uplifting energy experience with minimal pushback from the control grid. Dissolving the dark control grid. As Cameron Day mentioned before, one of the dark control grid's functions is to block energy coming to Earth from the galactic core. Fortunately, this grid has been weakened and it has holes in it, allowing the galactic energy to come through in ever-increasing amounts. The ankle biters know that their time is almost up, and they are desperately doing everything that they can to keep human consciousness in a low-frequency state. One result of their increasing desperation is that they are aggressively interfering with anyone who is raising their consciousness and frequency rate. That means you, and that means me. This is war to them. And they will do whatever they can to keep you, me, and everyone feeling sad, fearful, depressed, disempowered, etc. One look at the news will confirm this. So what can you do to help this situation? A lot. Be aware that you are tapping into your own inner divine power and unleashing it. Always remember that you are the power that these ankle biters covet and feed from. They pretend to be strong, but their strength comes from you. Ankle biters have nothing within them that is anywhere near as powerful as a single human being, with full awareness of their true divine nature. Once your inner divine light is expanded and you are connected to the Earth's core, imagine that you are projecting a beam of light from your divine inner core straight up and into the core of the galaxy. Your light beam will pierce the dark control grid and arrive at the galactic core almost instantly. Then say to the galactic core, "I am ready to be a galactic conduit," at which point you will receive a cosmic flush of galactic energy. You are initiating the energetic connection to the galactic core, then acting as a galactic conduit for the galaxy's consciousness to transmit its energy directly through you and into the planet. This is important. This is an important distinction because it reinforces the notion that you are the power that is initiating the cosmic flush. You're not a weak little person asking for help from the galactic core, but rather you are a powerful, incredibly important player in this cosmic game of chess that is nearing the endgame. Without you volunteering to be a galactic conduit, it would be much more difficult to dissolve the dark control grid when the time is right. Imagine hundreds and thousands of people all over the planet piercing the dark control grid and conducting a cosmic flush directly into the planet's core, and that light spreading to everyone who can receive it. Imagine the ankle biters dashing around, frantically trying to repair the holes in the control grid while the people stand strong as galactic conduits, in spite of the ankle biters' attempts to get them to stop and think fearful or sad thoughts instead. Kicking the anthill. Cameron Day knows that the idea of attracting ankle biter attention isn't very appealing, and he would certainly prefer to relax on a beach in Hawaii, but the fact remains that they will interfere with anyone who is actively raising their frequency of consciousness, and they have done so throughout human history. Their favorite technique is to send in a reminder about things that are wrong in your life, especially if they can distract you into blaming someone else for that problem that is suddenly on your mind. Other dirty tricks they use are distractions to do something fun or something you need to do, as long as it gets you to stop embodying a high-frequency energy state. Sometimes they will launch an all-out psychic attack. Often they will attempt to get at you while you are asleep or doing something unrelated to energy work. All of these tricks can be countered. When you notice ankle biters trying to interfere with your thoughts, emotions, or energy, immediately start expanding your divine inner light from your heart until it surrounds your body. This pure, intense light of your divine being is painful for these low-frequency ankle biters to be near, and they will withdraw. Cameron Day thinks this may be where the myth of the blood-sucking vampire who can't stand sunlight comes from. However, even when withdrawn, the ankle biters will have a thin energy tube connected to you somewhere in your consciousness that they will use to send harmful energy or siphon off your emotional energy. Command from your divine core that the ankle biters present be captured in containment orbs, which are energetic spheres of light that keep them from running away and hiding. Then do an energy refund to send their tubes and any other connections they have formed in your consciousness back to them. Now, for just a few moments, it's okay to get a little angry as a temporary way to rise above feeling helpless. Not blinding rage, but a little righteous indignation that these parasites have been messing with you is okay to entertain for a moment. This is a step up from feeling like a helpless victim to these parasites, which is how they want you to feel. Just don't stay angry for long, and instead work to move your frequency higher. Staying totally calm and forgiving should be your ultimate goal, but if A little anger helps get you out of feeling like a victim. To the parasites, go for it. Cameron Day tells us this so that we don't feel bad if we get mad at these parasites for a moment. However, it is important not to engage them in a constant state of anger, as that anger energy will actually feed them, which we obviously don't want. Once they are contained, imagine that you are grabbing them and squeezing them to get them to let go of your energy that they have been draining from you. See that low frequency energy pulling in front of you, then hit it with a blast of light from your heart to purify and transmute it back to a state of pure energy and reclaim that energy back into your being. At this point, the ankle biters will be upset and trying to make you feel bad about yourself in any way that they can. Cameron Day suggests that you laugh at them and remind them that they were never given permission to take your energy or enslave humanity. Then ask the galaxy being to arrest them and offer them the choice of returning to the light or being incarcerated somewhere that they can't harm or drain anyone ever again. In the past, Cameron Day used to do a catch and release with ankle biters, but things have changed. We are nearing the point where it is time to fully remove the ankle biters' influence from Earth and to dismantle their dark control grid. This means that it is okay to ask the galaxy being to incarcerate these ankle biters and to offer them the option to begin healing and gradually coming back to the light. Offering them the chance to heal and return to the light is an important point to focus on. Ultimately, everything in the universe comes from a single divine consciousness, even the darkest of the ankle biters. This means they will eventually realign themselves with the light and begin their journey of returning to Source. So we are simply acting as divine conduits to assist this process to unfold more rapidly. Ankle biters won't see this as a good thing due to their lack of empathy, and they may even try to make you feel like you are violating their free will. However, humanity's free will has been repeatedly violated by these parasitic beings, so they are no longer allowed total free will. The only choices remaining to them are to heal and return to the light, or to remain as they are while being incarcerated and prevented from harming anyone else. The beginning of the end of the darkness. The ankle biters are not going to give up easily, and they are already fighting back with everything they have. Their increased frequency and intensity of attacks on light workers and casual meditators alike reveals their desperation. They have been weakened by the generally rising consciousness on the planet, and they are very dangerous, like an animal backed into a corner. In order for the plan to remove their influence from human consciousness to work, we need an army of light workers expanding their inner divine light and acting as galactic conduits, piercing the dark control grid full of holes that allow tremendous light to stream into the earth. If we can do our part here on the ground, the non-incarnated members of the forces of light will be able to make the final move and strip away the dark control grid from this planet, resulting in an instant uplifting of all life on Earth. Cameron Day can't emphasize strongly enough how important this step is in our planetary ascension. This dark control grid has been corrupting and stifling human consciousness for many, many millennia. When it is removed along with the ankle biters, it will be like an instant consciousness expansion for every person on the planet. Imagine everyone suddenly being free of the dark side of human nature, so that the true glory of loving human consciousness can expand within the hearts and minds of everyone on Earth. This is part of our journey of awakening that must occur. Most people won't even know what happened, just that they feel much better, more relaxed, happier, and ready to help others. No obligation. It is up to you if you want to participate at this level, and it is fine if you don't want to, or you aren't able due to circumstances in your life. If things are energetically smooth in your life and you are not drawn to the idea of helping with the cleanup of the ankle biters. We fully respect that decision. This path is truly not for everyone, so you must check with your inner divine self to see if this is for you. However, if you want to seize the moment and use this opportunity to become more powerful, compassionate, and ultimately more forgiving, this might be for you. Also, if you find that you are experiencing psychic attacks from the ankle biters, you are already part of the final showdown. If this is the case for you, we strongly urge you to incorporate the techniques laid out in this article to more effectively deal with the ankle biters. Your subconscious environment. It is important to be aware that the ankle biters use our own subconscious beliefs as portals into our psyche. Every unhealed wound in our subconscious is like a pressure point that they can squeeze to elicit an emotional response from us. This is one reason why self-clearing is so important. Whenever you deal with ankle biters, after you have had them arrested, be sure to take some time to work on peeling the deeper layers of subconscious issues that they used to hook into you in the first place. Ankle biters will very often manipulate people in their dream state to reinstall or strengthen limiting subconscious programming. Fear is their primary tool, so they will embed fearful scenarios in the dream state in order to make a person susceptible to their programming. It is very much like a form of hypnotic suggestion, and it requires tremendous self-awareness to break free from this programmed mind system. Each night before you go to sleep, invoke your divine inner self from your heart and declare that you will dream safely within your divine inner light. State that you intend to remember all of your dreams so that you can dissolve any limiting subconscious beliefs that are revealed in your dreams. In the morning, take 10 minutes to reclaim energy from any limitations or fears that were exposed in your dreams. Even if you can't remember them, take those few minutes to expand your inner divine light. Clear your energy field and start your day from your inner divine inspiration. The more clear you get, the less the ankle biters will be able to manipulate you into low-frequency emotional patterns. Always remind yourself, I am the power they want, and then stand strong in the power of your divine inner self. Blaze your light like a million suns, for you are so much more than you realize, and soon you will know without any doubt how powerful you truly are. So that's basically the end of Cameron Day's article, and it reminds me that we should stand strong in our sovereignty and how powerful and energetically divine we are as human beings. No one has the power to take our energy, to take our freedom from us. We have free will, and we can defend ourselves from any energetic attacks by etheric entities or even physical attacks. So for me, this article actually gave me a lot of empowering information on what the background story is on Archons, and this, where the term of Ring of Archons came from. It's not a term that's floating around on the internet. It was coined by someone and it was created. And there's, like I was saying before I started reading this article, there's tons of different rituals. Like tons. There's different kinds of ritual magic, dark, light, or in between. So to imply something stating the Ring of Archons and that was used in a ritual without actually explaining what that means, what is the Ring of Archons? What was the ritual? They didn't explain what it means or what it does. They just attached the terms and implied that it was done to a group of people to influence them to do something. Well, if you're talking about rituals, Ring of Archons, you need to understand what it is and explain it clearly. And it's implying something that you're talking about energetic parasites and rituals to possess somebody, to do something energetically and physically manipulate someone. That's implying stuff that goes, it just crosses a fine line. I don't like when that's done. And I just wanted to actually to talk about this, and it just, to me, it signals that whatever this was about the Ring of Archons and rituals, it was not clearly researched. It's such loose definitions without explanation, and it could cause fear in people, because these words are not pleasant to hear, and you're like wondering, what the heck is all of this Ring of Archons and rituals? And why are these people talking about these things and connecting it with other people? What's going on here? What's the energetic agenda? So we always have to ask ourselves, what's behind people's agendas, and why are they saying stuff and doing things? You gotta wonder what's really behind all of this, and why is it being taught now? It's people saying stuff against other people, which I don't like. I don't agree with it. And it's implying or inferring something of energetic agendas, of dark agendas, which I don't think were done at all. Rituals are serious stuff that should not be messed with. Parasitic or ethereal entities, they shouldn't be summoned, because they can possess you and others and take advantage of you. They're dark incarnate, non-incarnate spirits or demons or whatnot, parasitic, energetic worms or whatnot. You don't want to invoke that stuff. You just don't want to invite that into your life. Why would anybody energetically summon that and do that in a ritual? I just don't see it. I just don't. And to me, implying that is not fair. Who in their right mind would summon something that possesses you energetically? That is a etheric parasite that possesses you and others and manipulates you to do stuff you would never do. Like, why would you want to do that? That's dark energy. That's dark magic. That's not of the light. That's not service to others. It's a service to self, kind of a implication of an agenda. And there's something behind that, which is, it doesn't sit well for me. And I just wanted to do this video and to think about what the heck is going on here, and question and discern what is going on and why is it being done? Why is it being inferred and implied, and coining the term Ring of Archons, making it popular so blatantly? You gotta question what's behind all of that. So that's where I'll leave off. So thank you and namaste.